Shalom, brothers and sisters. We want to give all praises and glorification and due honor to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, who the world better yet know as God and Jesus the Christ. And we salute you, brothers. We say peace to the family. We want to get into this lesson on today. This is a short lesson. I promise you it's a short lesson. And this lesson is going to be titled that the Lucifer doctrine was created by man. Basically, the doctrine of Lucifer being Satan was created by man. So, double honors, salute to the elders, much respect to the Achaim, the brothers that's preaching the truth and sincerity, edifying the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the Israelites, according to the scriptures, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans by bloodline and by heritage. So, we're going to sound off the shofar and get straight into the lesson. Shema Yasha'ala Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Akkad. Shema Yasha'ala Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Akkad. Shema Yasha'ala Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Akkad. And that's Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Let's get into this lesson. Let's go straight to Isaiah 14 and 12. All right. Now, this is where a lot of brothers get confused. A lot of brothers and sisters right here. How art thou fallen from heaven? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Right here. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? First and foremost, you must understand this, brothers and sisters. We already know that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Hebrew Israelites. Therefore, we must know Hebrew. We have to get back to the Hebrew. The reason why I say this is because if you know your Hebrew, then you will know that Lucifer don't even supposed to be in Isaiah 14:12. The reason why I say that is because Lucifer is a Latin term. It's not a Hebraic term. Lucifer in Latin simply means morning star. Now, why would Latin term be in Hebrew text? Because simply what's going on when the King James Bible was being translated, the scholars took the Latin word Lucifer from the Latin Vulgate and they placed it in the King James Bible. That's what they did. Now we're going to show you the Latin Vulgate, okay? Here is the Latin Vulgate, okay? The Latin Vulgate, brothers and sisters. I want you to see it. Now, if you would look at the Latin Vulgate, it says Quamado sestadistai de lecalo Lucifer. Now, Lucifer is a Latin term because it comes from the Latin Vulgate. Now, if you translate, what would that mean? It would mean morning star, as you can see over here. I don't know if you see it, brothers and sisters, but it would mean morning star. So when you go back to Isaiah 14:12, when you see, oh, Lucifer, what's supposed to be here is morning star. But remember that Isaiah 14:12 was written in Hebrew. Okay, if you will go to a article right here and show you that. It says, if Isaiah was written in Hebrew and the text was translated into English, okay, it says the word Lucifer, which is what? Okay, the word Lucifer, which is what? It says it is Latin. I don't know, you see it is Latin. Latin wouldn't be there because it was written in the ancient Hebrew text. So you must understand, you got to ask yourself a question, brothers and sisters, dealing with Isaiah 14:12. Now, did the Latin come before the Hebrew, or did the Hebrew come before the Latin? Did the Latin come before the Hebrew, or did the Hebrew come before the Latin? Come on, brothers and sisters. We should notice that the Hebrew came before the Latin. It was Hebrew, it was Greek, then the Latin. So why would they put Latin term in the Hebrew text, the Hebraic text? Okay, why would they do that? Brothers and sisters, you must understand that it's a plot out to deceive you, brothers and sisters. It's a plot out to do this. This is all by design, This is all by design. You must understand. That's why I'm telling you, you have to get back to the Hebrew. So when it says, how art thou Lucifer, it says fallen from heaven. Lucifer right here if you want to say Lucifer in the Hebrew, it would be Hallel, as you can see right here. Hallel. Hallel. That's how you would say Lucifer in the Hebrew, and that's Hebrew 1966. Some may say 1966. When you go into the interlinear, when you go into the Hebraic dictionary dealing with Lucifer, it takes you back to Hallel right here on top. Now, what Hallel means? It means shining one. It means morning star. So you must understand, on the behalf of Isaiah 14:12, Lucifer, right here, Lucifer means morning star in the Latin dialect. If you're speaking the Latin dialect, if you're speaking the Latin language, how would you say morning star in the Latin language? You would say Lucifer, okay? As we showed you, right? Right here. Quamado sesidisti decalio Lucifer. That's how you would say that. Now, what does it mean? Look over here. The New International Version, if you translate it, it means morning star. So Isaiah 14:12 basically said in the ancient Hebrew text, it said Hallel. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven? Hallel. Which means in Hebrew what? Morning star. So why in the hell would they have Lucifer here? Why would they have Lucifer here? That's a Latin term. It don't belong in the Hebraic text. So you must understand, we can kill this lesson right now. You must understand basically the history behind it. All right, the original word in Isaiah 14:12 was simply Hallel, which means in Hebrew morning star. But they took a Latin term from the Latin Vulgate, which is morning star in Latin is Lucifer, and they put that there. See? So when the Latin Vulgate was written in 382 AD, the Latin translators took the Hebrew word Hallel, which means morning star, because it was Hallel there. They took the Hebrew word Hallel. I'm going to show you right here. It's really supposed to be Hallel, which is morning star. The translators took Hallel and they translated it into the Latin term. They translated it into the Latin term Lucifer. Okay? Now, if you want to say Lucifer, if you want to say morning star in Latin, it'll be Lucifer. So they put Lucifer there. If you want to say morning star in Latin, you would say Lucifer. You want to say morning star in Hebrew, you would say Hallel. The Hebrew came before the Latin. So which one's supposed to be there? It's supposed to be Hallel there, which means morning star. It don't supposed to be Lucifer there. Why? Because Lucifer came from the Latin Vulgate. Okay. So when scholars translated the Hebrew word Hallel into the Latin word Lucifer, they were not trying to say that Satan's name is Lucifer. Okay. They were not trying to say that. Because if that's the case, you have to go back to the Hebrew, which came before the Latin, and call Satan Halal. You understand? Basically, because if you're trying to say that Satan's name is Lucifer, then you would have to go back to the Hebrew. You would have to go back to the Hebrew, which came before the Latin, which would be Halal. And you have to say that Satan's name is Halal. See? Don't make any sense. So when the King James Bibles were being put together, the King James translators took the word Lucifer. They took it from the Latin Vulgate, and instead of using the earlier Hebrew text Halal, they put Lucifer there, as you can see in Isaiah 14:12. So that's why we see Lucifer in our Bibles today. It's not a reference to Satan's name. It's just the Latin translating of the term morning star. That's all. And we showed you, and we'll show you once again. Parallel. Right here, Quamado sister Distia di Calio Lucifer. Okay. Which means morning star. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, Isaiah 14:12, it stated morning star here. Okay. In the Hebrew, it was Hallel, which means morning star. The translators took out Hallel, which means morning star, and they put Lucifer, which means morning star in the Latin. So it ain't got no damn business being here because it's a Latin term. And we know that Isaiah was written in what? Hebrew. Okay. So, let's move on. The King James translators used the Latin word instead of the Hebrew word halal. As time went on, people turned the Latin word Lucifer into a personal name. Okay? That's what they did. It was never meant to be a personal name. This is how Lucifer became Satan's name today. So that doctrine was created by man. The Bible doesn't say anywhere that Satan's name, however, is Lucifer. It doesn't say that. So what is Isaiah 14:12 really talking about? Isaiah 14:12 is not even talking about Satan, y'all. It's not talking about Satan. To get understanding of Isaiah 14:12, you have to back up a chapter and read Isaiah chapter 13. Because Isaiah 14:12 is simply talking about Nebuchadnezzar. It's not talking about Satan. First and foremost, you got to understand it's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Isaiah 14:12 is twofold. It's twofold now because it's a futuristic prophecy, basically, and it was an ancient prophecy dealing with Israel being in Babylonian captivity at that time. We're not looking at the futuristic prophecy. If you want to look at the futuristic prophecy of Isaiah 14:12, what I'm saying is if you want to look at Isaiah 14:12 on the other side of the coin, just be sure to visit my video right here. Lucifer is the so-called white man. Be sure to visit that. Okay, take a look at that on my page, S.F.I.A. Okay, just go in Shabar Judah being Israel. Check me out and look at Lucifer as the so-called white man. If you want to take it there on the other side of the coin. We're not going on the other side of the coin with this lesson. We're going to simply deal with Lucifer in Isaiah 14:12 on first fold being the king of Babylon, which was Nebuchadnezzar, when the Israelites were in the Babylonian captivity. So it's not talking about Satan. It's talking about a literal king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. You must understand how to master the Bible, okay? And this is how you do it. You have to stay on topic, stay within the context, and precept upon precept. You have to stay on context. Why? Because if you don't, you'll think that Isaiah 14:12 is talking about Satan, but if you read within the context, it's talking about simply Nebuchadnezzar. So the reason Morning Star was used in Isaiah 14:12 right here, Morning Star was used in Isaiah 14:12 because when you think about stars, they do what? They produce light. So stars are high above us and they shine their light down on us. So Nebuchadnezzar basically had become risen up in his pride, and he exalted himself as if he was the light of the world. So Nebuchadnezzar was being addressed as the morning star here in Isaiah 14:12. Okay, or some may say Lucifer, and in the Latin dialect, which simply just mean morning star. That's all. Latin don't even supposed to be in the Hebraic text of Isaiah 14:12, but however, we know that the true morning star is Yahweh. When you take a look at Revelation 22:16, the Son of God, Yahweh, who they call Christ, Revelation 22:16, he tells you that I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright morning star. So Yahweh is the one that gives the true light to the world, not Nebuchadnezzar. But Nebuchadnezzar tried to exalt himself in this position. Okay, so the Most High appointed this position to his son Yahweh. He never appointed this position to Nebuchadnezzar. And that's why when you look in St. John 18 verse 12, Yahweh Christ spake saying that I am the light of the world. So Nebuchadnezzar tried to do what? Tried to exalt himself and consider himself on this level, man. And that's why Isaiah 14:12 says he's called a bright morning star, Lucifer. Okay. That's what I'm trying to show you, brothers and sisters. To get understanding of Isaiah 14:12, to show you that it's literally talking about Nebuchadnezzar on one side of the coin. You're not dealing with the other side of the coin. We will have to start back at Isaiah chapter 13. So let's go back into the prior chapter of Isaiah, which is the 13, to get understanding on Isaiah 14 chapter, that the morning star, Lucifer, is basically Nebuchadnezzar. So we're going to begin with Isaiah 13. We'll read verse 9. It says, Behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, okay, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So what is it talking about? It's all in reference to Babylon. Let's skip down to Isaiah 13:19. And Babylon is, today Babylon would be modern day Iraq. So Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when God overthrows Sodom and Gomorrah. So Isaiah 13:19 is simply talking about the Most High taking down and destroying the Babylonian Empire. Okay, right? Just like he gonna destroy modern day Babylon, which is America. But we're gonna stick with just first fold. We're gonna stick with just on one side of the coin. Isaiah 13:20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So what is this talking about? That destruction was coming to Babylon, and it did, y'all. Okay. So you got to understand as we read down Isaiah 13:21, but the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and the satyrs shall dance there. Isaiah 13:22. It says, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall be prolonged. So it was talking about the destruction of Babylonians, that Babylonian Empire. Now, when you skip over to basically, let's say the next verse, when you skip over, all right, Isaiah 14:1. Now, Isaiah 14:1 is twofold. That's twofold, but we're going to talk about the first fold as just the Babylonian Empire and Nebuchadnezzar reigning over the children of Israel. It says the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. We just dealing with this first fold. Okay, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. The children of Israel was in the Babylonian captivity for 70 years. During this time, the Most High promised to have mercy on the children of Israel during the Babylonian destruction. It says that and he will set and choose Israel and set them in their own land. Okay, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Okay, let's go down to verse 2. We're just dealing with this first fold. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Jehovah for servants and handmaids. Basically, and it go on to say that they shall rule over their oppressors. Now, who was oppressing the children of Israel at this present time? Who was doing that? The Babylonians, the ancient Cushites, which are the Ethiopians. They was oppressing the children of Israel for 70 years. Keep that in mind. All right? Because we have to stay within the context. Okay? So, when you read on in Isaiah 14:3, it goes on to say that the Most High shall give the children of Israel rest from their sorrow. You got to understand that. Okay, so their sorrow was the Babylonians afflicting them. All right? When you read 14:4, Isaiah, that it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against who? Against who? The king of Babylon. Now, who was the king of Babylon at that time? Okay, it's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. It doesn't mention nothing about Satan here. If you would read within the context. Many of these people don't read within the context. All right, and that's why they all over the place. They don't understand the scriptures simply because they are not reading in the context. They're not staying on point. They're not staying on canvas. They're not staying on course. So it talks about the king of Babylon. Who was the king of Babylon at this time? Nebuchadnezzar. It's not talking anything about Satan. It's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. He's the king of Babylon. It goes on to say in verse 5, the Lord Jehovah have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of the rulers. Who was ruling over the children of Israel as king? Nebuchadnezzar, man. Okay, when you read all the way down, for the sake of time, we just skip down to verse 8 out of Isaiah 14. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. What it's basically talking about is the fall of the Babylonian Empire. It was so great that the trees metaphorically rejoiced, man. After Nebuchadnezzar was laid down, Nebuchadnezzar was cut down, man, and the trees rejoiced. Why? Because they received their break after the Most High took down the king of Babylon, which was Nebuchadnezzar. Verse 9 goes on to say, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. All right. And it stirred up the dead for thee. So basically it's talking about everyone who died before Nebuchadnezzar. They is excited because Nebuchadnezzar about to join them, man. Okay. It says, even all the chief ones of the earth, it had rised up from the thrones, all the kings of the nations. So basically what it's talking about, all the kings and rulers that was before Nebuchadnezzar, they are waiting for him to join them in death. Verse 10. I'm just dealing with this on the first fold. I'm dealing with this just on one side of the coin. We already know what's on the other side of the coin. Now, I told you, you can look at this video right here to see what's on the other side of the coin, because Isaiah 14 chapter is twofold. Check that one out if you want to see on the other side of the coin. We're not going there with this video. We're dealing with just one side of the coin. So as Isaiah 14:10 continues, it basically say, "Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become weak as we?" All the kings that died before Nebuchadnezzar will point out that he's lost all his power just like they did. All right. Let's see. Isaiah 14:11. The pomp is brought down to the grave, meaning your pride is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. What that's talking about is simply Nebuchadnezzar went from having all this power to nothing. The Most High brought his ass down, man, to nothing. All right. So who have we been reading about this whole entire time, brothers and sisters? Akiyam Wa. Who have we been reading about this whole entire time? We've been reading about the king of Babylon, which is Nebuchadnezzar. It doesn't say a damn thing about Satan in Isaiah the 14th chapter, if you would read within the context. Okay? If you would stay on the canvas. It's talking about Nebuchadnezzar, man. We are reading about how powerful he was, and the Most High did what? Simply took him out of power. Nebuchadnezzar fell down to nothing. That's why Isaiah 14:12. Now we're going to Isaiah 14:12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" Remember, Lucifer in the Latin, Lucifer means morning star in the Latin Vulgate. In the Latin Vulgate, because Lucifer is a Latin term, it means morning star. But the real thing right here is Hallel. Hallel, which means morning star in the Hebrew. It should be Hallel. The scholars took out Hallel, which means morning star in the Hebrew, and they went and put a Latin term there. Latin don't even belong in the Hebraic text of Isaiah. Isaiah is a Hebraic text. Isaiah was written in the Hebrew, not Latin. So you must understand that. But if you want to call it morning star in the Hebrew as Hallel, or morning star as Lucifer in the Latin, it still refers to Nebuchadnezzar. It doesn't refer to Satan. All right? You gotta understand that, brothers and sisters, man. A lot of our brothers and sisters are toe up in the mind because they don't read within the context. So if you stay within the context, you will see that this is simply concerning Nebuchadnezzar, man. The first 11 verses is about Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, reading from Isaiah 14, going all the way down, the first 11 verses right here. Let me select it. Okay. If you start from Isaiah 14:1, you go all the way down, okay, to right here. All these from Isaiah 14 verse 1 down to 11. These first 11 verses is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. It's not talking about Satan. Satan don't have a damn thing to do with Isaiah the 14th chapter. So how to master your Bible is simply when you are reading 3 steps. Once again, stay on topic. Stay within the context and remember precept upon precept. So why would verse 12 switch over to Satan when all the time it's been talking about Nebuchadnezzar? Why would verse 12 switch over to Satan? Because you have been bamboozled, brothers and sisters. You have been misled. You have been misinformed into believe that Lucifer is Satan when he's not. And I'm going to tell you how you've been misled. You've been misled by television, man. Because Hollywood does that, brothers and sisters. Okay? They'll tell you that Lucifer is Satan's name. Or they'll tell you that Lucifer is Satan. Okay? That's what Hollywood does. They tell you that Lucifer was Satan. Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer, basically in the Latin term, Lucifer is a Latin term which means morning star. We know who the morning star is. We know that Yahushua is the morning star. We brought that out in Revelation 22:16. He said that he, the root and the offspring of David, and that he's the bright morning star. But Nebuchadnezzar tried to set himself up as the bright morning star. That's all it's talking about. Lucifer just means morning star. It's not Satan's name. So Satan is not Lucifer, and Lucifer is not Satan. Wake the hell up, brothers and sisters. Please. So why would verse 12 be talking about Satan? If we read within the context, you'll know it's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. You'll know this whole verse is in reference to Nebuchadnezzar. So verse 12 is a continuation of the first 11 verses. Now, a reason why a lot of people have been led to believe that verse 12 talks about Satan, because right here it says falling from heaven. People automatically assume this is discussing Satan because it says falling from heaven. You've been taught also by Hollywood, by your damn television, Christianity televisions, shows. You've been taught that long time ago there was a dispute between the Heavenly Father and Satan, and he kicked him from above. That's a goddamn lie. All right? We're going to show you the true meaning, so you won't think that Lucifer is Satan. Lucifer was Nebuchadnezzar at the time, which was exalting himself as the bright morning star. Remember that Lucifer in the Latin Vulgate basically is a Latin term in the Latin Vulgate, which just simply means morning star. If you want to say the real term, it'll be Hallel in Hebrew, which means morning star. So a lot of people have been led to believe that Lucifer is Satan because it says falling from heaven. Let me break that down. Why does it mention he fell from heaven? It's really in reference to Nebuchadnezzar. The Most High brought him down. Why does it mention right here, though, if you still insist on Satan falling from heaven? Why is this insist on it says falling from heaven? Let me give you a precept. Let's go over to Lamentations 2:1. This is Lamentations 2:1. How had the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, covered the daughter of Zion, which were the Israelites, with a cloud of his anger, and cast down from heaven into the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. So Lamentations 2:1 tells you that the Most High became upset with his children, his chosen people, Israel. He became furious. He became angry at them, and he did what? He cast down from heaven into the earth the beauty of Israel. So was the nation of Israel floating in the heavens? Was the nation of Israel thrown down from up here to the earth? Brothers and sisters, you must understand that this is a metaphorical passage here. Lamentations 2:1. He took down the nation of Israel out of their high position to a low position for breaking his commandments. He took them down from being kings and queens to being slaves, to being captives, to being slaves on the servitude of other heathen nations. That's what it's talking about. Israel were kings and queens. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you was once kings and queens long time ago. But he took you down for violating his commandments and made you slaves under the heathen. He cast down you from heaven to the earth. That's just in a metaphorical saying that we became from off top down to the bottom. All right. He took away basically our heaven. He took away our rulership and made us slaves. Another precept you can go to is Leviticus 26, and 19. Leviticus 26:19. We'll start with Leviticus 26:14 and work our way to 19. Leviticus 26:14. But if you will not hearken to me and will not do all these commandments, that's what he told us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as the nation of Israel. He said if we didn't do this, okay, look at Leviticus 26:17. I will set my face against you. That means I will be angry at you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursue it. They that hate you shall reign over you. Now let's look at verse 19 of Leviticus 26. And I will break the pride of your power. The Most High say that he was going to take our power, our rulership, our position, our royalty away. Brothers and sisters, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, as the Israelites, your royalty will be taken away, and I will make your heaven, I will make your what? I will make your heaven, your rulership, as iron. I will make your position of power heavy, and your earth is brass. So on the behalf of Lamentations 2 and 1, that's what it's talking about. The children of Israel, what they did. They violated the law, statutes, and commandments. They revolted on the Most High and broke his commandments. So what the Most High did, he became angered with the children of Israel, cast them down from heaven to the earth. And what to say, he cast them down from rulership, the position of power, the position of kings and queens. And we went from kings and queens to slaves and niggers and his spicks. Okay, that's what's going on. So you must understand that. So this is the same fate that happened to Nebuchadnezzar when we go back into Isaiah 14:12. Understand that, brothers and sisters. This is the same damn thing that happened to Nebuchadnezzar. See? How art thou fallen from heaven? Because he took Nebuchadnezzar out of power. How have thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? In reference to Nebuchadnezzar being the bright morning star. He exalting himself as the morning star. Okay? Lucifer, remember, Lucifer in Latin means morning star. They don't even supposed to be Lucifer here. It's supposed to be Hallel in Hebrew, which means morning star. So Nebuchadnezzar fell down when the Most High took him out of power. Okay. So verse 12 mentions falling from heaven. It's not literal. You got to understand, falling from heaven is not literal. Falling from heaven just be in a metaphorical sense that he took Nebuchadnezzar's ass down from off the mountain. Okay, he took his ass down and he destroyed the Babylonian Empire. Okay, by using the Persians, by using the Medo-Persians to overthrow the Babylonians. That's all it's talking about. So, man, I hope you understand by now. I hope you understand. So the Most High will put Nebuchadnezzar to death in the time to come. All right. If you look, because we just dealing with first fold. If you skip down to Isaiah 14:16, they that see thee shall look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Nebuchadnezzar was a man. See? That made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms. See? So a man that was consumed in pride was Nebuchadnezzar. Began to think that he would be unstoppable. A man that thought he was the light of the world, which was the morning star, being Lucifer in the Latin Vulgate. All right. But in Hebrew it will be Halal, which is morning star. Okay. So the Most High would soon take all his power, including his life. So Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer is a term that can be applied to anyone who exalts himself for position. That's all. Okay, nothing more. Now, we're going to show you this and we're going to close out. This is Matthew 23:12. I hope you are enjoying this lesson, brothers and sisters. Matthew 23:12. It says, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. On the other half, you know, back in the Isaiah chapter 13, chapter 14, Nebuchadnezzar did what? He exalted himself as the bright morning star. Because we told you that stars sit high and look low. Nebuchadnezzar crushed and oppressed everybody else around him. He considered himself to be the highest. So he exalted himself, so he had to be abased. Whomsoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. He had to be brought down, meaning that he had to be brought down from heaven, okay, from rulership, from power, okay. So whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. He that shall humble himself shall be exalted. So it's really great, brothers and sisters, that you understand this. And it's also really great that you stay humble, man. Because when you exalt yourself, you place yourself in Yahweh Shem Yahweh position. You place yourself in his seat. So he is the exalted one, the bright and morning star. Not Nebuchadnezzar, man. Okay. So, yeah, Isaiah 14:12 is not talking about Satan. It's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. He was called Lucifer, which the morning star. That's how you would say that in the Latin Vulgate. However, in Hebrew, what the correct term supposed to be in Isaiah 14:12 was halal, which means morning star. So, brothers and sisters, with that, hope you was edified. Share, subscribe, support the ministry. We need your help. We need as many brothers and sisters to push this ministry and help get this knowledge out to so many others that are in darkness. Okay, so until next time, I am Shabar Judah ben Israel on the behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. With this, we say Shalom.